Yeah, I mean that was actually, I remember in school, I got really into history class and really into history. And the turn for me from why I got into history was I was into World of Warcraft lore. So it was like I was in history class and I remember just thinking like, "Oh my, it's like Warcraft lore but real life." Oh my god. And then I got really into history. Oh, I thought that was like my only chance in the practice. Okay. Got him. Going back to fantasy, I was kind of obsessed with fantasy as a teenager. Not just like building, well, I did build, how should I put it? I built my own worlds over and over again because nothing was ever good enough, right? I was a bit of a perfectionist with all that. Stop, I keep getting this one thing. And I was obsessed with D&D, I don't know, since I was maybe 12 to like 18. And at some point I realized, oh yeah, you can just make a fantasy world about anything. It doesn't have to be like elves and dwarves and stuff. That was easy. You can just make, I don't know, there's Final Fantasy, and it's kind of like modern nonsense. You could just make that if you feel like it. So I just started doing that instead at some point. And then I realized everything is just a fantasy if you put your mind to it. Being in a gang is a fantasy. You're LARPing as a gang member. Robbing a store as a gang member. I'm a member of a gang. This is all just like LARPing, but in a modern setting, basically. Being hunted down by the police. It's basically just like very advanced LARPing. Being in jail, getting a tattoo. It's high-level LARPing. Very realistic LARP. Yeah, I mean, you're in character all the time. Stop stealing from me! Stop it! You're just in character all the time as a gang member. I think that's like 90% of the appeal for most gang members. They're just like in character as a tough guy. I'm into it, yeah. And you could just do that with anything if you feel like it, I guess. Is that my point? Is that the conclusion I wanted to reach to? You could induce mental illness in yourself if you felt like it. That's also being a police officer. It's just two sides of just LARPing. It's all just a like real life action role playing. I'm a tough guy. I'm hunting down the bad guys. I've described my colleague's experience as a bit of a LARP. Yeah. I'm trying to think about when I went to university last year. And I was LARPing as a normal guy because I was waking up at like 6 a.m. in the morning. And I was just like, yep, that's me. Going to school, university. If you lean Buddhist, you just find there's no self, so you can put on any... Yeah, I mean, that maybe that is like what Buddha was meant to teach. Right? Like... What the fuck is this game? Hold on. What am I doing? I'll wing it. I think maybe that is the true enlightenment, right? Like, the world is a facade. Nothing is real. Everything is marked with emptiness except for the LARP. Or the LARP is the emptiness. I don't know. I'm trying to go through Buddhist philosophy and play Mario Party at the same time. Hold on. What was I talking about? Buddhist teachings? Oh yeah. It's so much. It's so much to go into because so much of it is interesting. But I also don't want to derail into me talking about that completely. I got way into Zen Buddhism in my early 20s. Yeah, I think, I don't know, I got into Zen Buddhism. Damn it, shit. I would say I learned nothing. Sounds like you learned a lot. You learned just right. It's pretty funky. I had a sheltered childhood, so it's neat learning. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I was sheltered. It's just like I was into religion or like learning about it, or in the same way I was into learning about history and culture and stuff. The only thing I felt I learned was that reaching enlightenment takes more than one circle of rebirth. So why bother? Well, that's more like, isn't that more Vajrayana Buddhism? That's like Thai, where it's like they treat monks with like reverence, because it's like, oh, I'm hoping in my next life I can be reborn as a monk. And Zen Buddhism, it's not that they don't believe in reincarnation, but from my experience, Zen Buddhism seems to be more along the lines of like, don't worry about reincarnation, don't worry about like the next life or whatever, what happens. Like that's outside of what you should be concerned about. Like they don't discredit it as like something that's unreal, but it seems like the practice seems to be like, don't worry about it, stop thinking about it. Like, just because the Buddha taught about reincarnation, it doesn't have to be like something you should be concerned about. He didn't teach, this is what you gotta do. He taught it as, this is what happens. And Zen Buddhism seems to also talk about inherent enlightenment, which I said I wouldn't talk about this, but I guess here I am, because I just find it so fascinating, right? And this is a very interesting core concept in Zen Buddhism. Inherent enlightenment is like, what makes it stand out from other kinds of Buddhism is that other forms of Buddhism say like, this is what you gotta do to reach enlightenment. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. You gotta meditate. You gotta do these practices. You gotta do rituals. You gotta become a higher being. And Zen Buddhism looks at all of that and says like, well, that doesn't seem right. Maybe it's the other way around. Hold on, I got a jewel. Because Zen Buddhism argues, if we're all destined, if we all have the potential to reach enlightenment, then enlightenment is already within our nature, inside of us. And therefore, that means we shouldn't do things to reach enlightenment. We should let go of things that prevent us from the enlightenment that is within. I have 10 seconds to roll a ball. Hold on. I have to let go. Reach enlightenment real quick. Okay, I think I get it though. But yeah, I think that is what makes Zen Buddhism for one stand out really interesting in comparison to other forms of Buddhism. Is let go. Go bowling. Ninja, this is the perfect metaphor. Of like, I'm holding this ball right here of like, this is who I am, this is who I have to be, this is who I have to become, this is how people perceive me, this is how I want to be seen by other people. I let go of that, and I'm towards a higher path of enlightenment. And I think that's just by itself, super interesting philosophy, because you can apply that to a lot of things. Yeah, I wasn't enlightened in full. I didn't let go of everything, alright? I let go of some things. I'm still on the path. I think that is why Zen Buddhism stands out super interesting as a religious path to me, because I think you can find that applicable in a lot of things in your life, right? Like maybe you're thinking, oh, I wish people saw me this way. I wish, you know, a lot of people are confused about who am I? How do I find myself? How do I, or artists also, you know, struggle with this. Like, who am I as an artist? How do I find that? Like, do I copy other artists? How do I find myself? Do I copy other people? What do I do? Did you just reach it over time? And like Zen Buddhism's answer to that would be like, if you let go of all of these, you know, questions of like, who am I? What do I want? How do other people perceive me? How do I want to be seen? Then you would be on the path towards understanding who you are. Are you sure you have let go of your material self? Sure. Looks down to Pokemon cartridge, clasped in hand. Well, we can keep a couple of things. We don't have to let go of everything. I still have to catch Dialga, you know. And after that, Palkia. I mean, the danger of that whole philosophy is like letting go. I don't know, I think this is why I'm not fully put into Zen Buddhist philosophy, right? Because I feel like it can almost be dangerous to... Wait, what the fuck am I doing? What is this? Oh, I'm telling him where to jump. Okay, I get it. At what point does this just become nihilism of like nothing matters? Everything is inherently emptiness. If everything is inherently emptiness, what is the right path in life? Is everything inherently meaningless? Is all my goal? Is my goal what I want to do an illusion of my ego? And that's where I don't know. I get a bit uncertain about like what is good enough as a philosophy, or what is good enough to operate on. Because I think in some way human beings benefit from attachments and meaning and trying to understand who they are and having ways to look at life of like, this is meaningful to me. I think it's very easy to fall down a hole of like trying to find meaning in something and ultimately just finding, oh, everything is kind of meaningless, and it's actually too difficult to find something what is good enough to be meaningful in life. It's been depressing. It's just like my perfectionist attitude being like, oh, I guess Buddha didn't know enough, huh? Maybe it did. Maybe I just need to learn more. Because I don't think the Zen Buddhist answer is pessimism or nihilism. And I don't think that's the answer in Buddhism. But I also don't know myself what would be the right path and all that. Do I really have 5 stars? What the hell? Attachments fucking rule. I can't get enough. Gimme, gimme, gimme.